Hi, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to learn how to work with timestamps in Google Data Studio. More specifically, we are going to cover how you can create calculated fields in Data Studio using these three formulas. For today's learning, I have prepared a mock-up dataset. If you are interested in practicing your own dashboard using this data, you are more than welcome to duplicate the Google Sheet and use it as your data source. I'll put the link in the description below as usual. In this tutorial, we are going to assume that we are one of the sellers on e-commerce platform and we have data like transaction ID, customer name, rating that they are giving sellers on platform, product purchased, and the timestamps when the order is being placed, payment made, shipped out, and all the way to order being received at customer place. If you notice, each row is actually representing one transaction. While I know it doesn't make sense that the customer only buys one product, let's just assume that one transaction, one product for our example today. So what happened here is that we want to know how long does it take from order being paid to order being fulfilled, which means delivered at customer's doorstep, which is known as lead time in the logistics industry. Unfortunately, there is some inconsistency in the data where all the timestamps are in Malaysia time zone except for order received, which is in UTC due to some technical issue. So our first task today is to convert the order received timestamps to Malaysia time zone by adding 8 hour to it. Let's go over to Data Studio and import the data set. Alright, now we're going to create a new report. Google Sheets connector and look for timestamps and click Add button. Add to report, and here you go. We can give a proper name to this report. Maybe we can name it as time related function practice. Alright, first thing first, after we import the data, we can create a new field at the bottom right. Click on this and key in the formula. Remember, we want to add 8 hour to the timestamp which wrongly recorded in UTC time zone. After we key in the formula, look for the field order received at the left hand side and add it. You can also try to type it if let's say you type and then you can just choose one. Then we are going to indicate what is the interval. In this case, we want to add 8 hour. We can just write the formula in this way. Interval followed by a number and the part. We are choosing the hour part because we are adding 8 hour to it. And later on we can define the new column name for this field. And click save. Click finish. There. Maybe we should do a refresh. Yeah, it's appearing here. So usually I would just drag the column, the newly created column here, and see if it works the same as what I expected. Maybe I can just pull in the original one and check if it's adding 8 hours. So in the first case, 11 plus 8 will be 19. Yes, it's correct. By the way, just now I forgot to mention that when you create a field in Data Studio, you don't have to indicate the equal sign like you have to in Google Sheets or Excel. Here, if you put the equal sign, it will actually throw you a syntax error. So if you have a syntax error, you can't really update it. Or you can't even create this field in the first place if you key in the formula wrongly. So we just removed it. In Data Studio, we also have another formula called datetime sub, which basically works like datetime add just that instead of adding the interval, it's actually subtracting the interval. So it will be quite useful if you want to deduct a certain amount of time from a timestamp. For example, if the timestamps are stored in UTC and your local time zone is in GMT -5, you might need this function. I'll just quickly show you a demo on how to create that calculated field using that formula. We will use the datetime sub function, put in the order received as the first parameter, and then key in the interval, maybe -5 hour. And I drag it in, and we can check whether it's -5. So the order received is here, 11 -5 will be getting 6. So this is how it works. Now we have the timestamp converted to the correct time zone, which is the cleaned order received. I think we are ready to calculate the lead time here. So just head over to your property panel again and click on add field. This time we will use datetime function to calculate the difference in duration between order paid and when item is received by the customer. First, let's give it a name and key in the formula. There's one thing to take note, which is this function is always taking the first timestamp that you pass in and minus the second timestamp. So we'll put the later one first, which is order received, followed by order paid. The last parameter in this formula, we are going to pass in the part. This basically tells Data Studio that we want the difference to be calculated in minute or hour or day or even month. In our use case here, I think the most suitable unit is the day. So we can just key in the day difference and click save and finish. I don't see that yet. Maybe I will just refresh it again. This is really weird. Okay, I have the lead time here. I'll just drag it in to the matrix. And I'll just remove the example earlier and put in the paid, order paid. Alright, now let's see if they're calculating it correctly. So for the first transaction, it's paid on 22nd Jan, but it's delivered on 28th Feb. So it's basically taking 33 days to deliver, which is right. So we have done our data validation and it has proven that our formula works in the way that we want it to work. That's all for tutorial today on how to create a calculated field using datetime related formulas in Data Studio.